research carried out for the BBC's Panorama by the NPSCC. It found the youngest alleged victim was just 2 years old. The research also found that cases of abuse happened across 6 decades in hospitals, children's homes and BBC dressing rooms. Shelley Joffrey reports.
Jimmy Savile.
Very good. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome indeed to Top of the Pops.
Jimmy Savile was one of the most prolific sex offenders in recent history. It's been 18 months since he was first unmasked as a predatory paedophile.
Boo. Very nervous she is.
Fresh accounts of his abuse are still emerging. This woman says she was abused by Savile as a teenager at both the BBC and Broadmoor Top Security Psychiatric Hospital, where she was invited by the DJ to perform for patients.
I didn't know if it was right, if it was wrong. This is what they do in showbiz. I didn't know. It was the most scariest experience, I think, of my life.
Jimmy Savile was the entertainer who groomed a nation. New research by the NSPCC, commissioned by Panorama, shows that 500 reports of abuse have now been made to the charity and the Metropolitan Police. That's 50 more than previously reported. It happened across 6 decades in BBC dressing rooms, hospitals and in children's homes. Inquiries by the Department of Health and the BBC are due to report back soon on how Savile was able to abuse for so long within their walls. Shelley Joffrey, BBC News.
Well, Liz Dux is a lawyer from Slater and Gordon who represents some 170 people who've made allegations against Jimmy Savile. She's in our central London studio for us this morning. A very good morning to you. Thanks for being with us. But what is your reaction to these latest details we're hearing?
Well, the numbers are, of course, simply staggering. We are talking about one person who alone perpetrated what's now being said as 500 sexual assaults. It comes as no surprise to me. I'm still being called daily by victims who are reporting alleged assaults by Savile, who simply haven't felt able until now to talk about these matters.
You say it comes as no surprise to you. Are there any details here that you didn't know? For example, the youngest age we're now hearing was just 2 years old.
Yeah, that is truly horrifying. We do represent some very young victims. He was, what is so horrifying is how indiscriminate he was. He lost no opportunity every day, wherever he was. If there was a youngster around him, he would sexually assault them. And that is what is so appalling, and what tonight's programme is so important, is it looks at the role of those in authority around him who had the power to stop him.
And when you look at the period of time that these allegations span, I mean, it's hard to believe that he was able to get away with it for so long.
Well, that's why we have to look at these questions in more detail. It is little short of a national scandal, and what will emerge from tonight's programme is that more and more people knew that it had been reported to those in authority, and they simply put the reputation of their organisation or his fundraising or his so-called philanthropic work above the safety of children, and that is a disgrace.
And in terms of your clients, the people that you are representing, when they hear these kind of details, the number of people who suffered or claim to have suffered at his hands, does that make things easier for them to come to terms with, or what kind of impact is it having on them?
They're becoming angrier and angrier, actually. They are really distressed that evidence is emerging that more and more people knew, and that those reports were simply brushed under the carpet or put aside because of his so-called importance to the various organisations. And that is what is so troubling to them. And obviously they're awaiting the various reports by Dame Janet Smith and into the NHS with a huge amount of interest, because they're very concerned that there should be full accountability.
And when are we expecting to hear these various people report?
Well, the Dame Janet Smith report has now been put back until probably early September. She is still hearing evidence all the time, But it is important that those reports, having taken this long, are dealt with as thoroughly as possible. My clients would much rather that they took slightly longer, but they are in as much detail as possible and that no stone is left unturned.
Okay, Liz Dutz, we will leave it there. Good to talk to you. Thank you very much
Pleasure.
indeed. And just to let you know that you can see more on the latest